Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Building Championship Mindsets, the podcast. This is your host, Dr. Amber Selking, where we are in season 16 entitled Winning the Mental Game for Kids. Yes, kids, this season is directly directed at you. I want to talk to you. I want you to understand the power of your mind because our world needs you. And you've got a lot of challenges in front of you right now. And so I want to help equip you to have courage, to have confidence so that you can make great choices for your life right now, but also for your future. We've been on this awesome journey together where we've been starting to understand how our brain works, how it impacts how we show up, and then how we can train our brain, just like we train our sport, just like we train our subjects in school, to be your best self on a consistent basis. We've learned about how important our thoughts are, how thoughts build mindsets. And then we talked about how we have to be aware so that we can show up as the best version of ourselves, playing to our strengths and not letting bad influences distract us or cause us to make choices that really don't align with who we want to be and what we want to do in this world. And then we talked about motivation, right? How it is your job to motivate you. And some days it's hard. But motivation is just about making the next right choice that helps you be who you want to be and accomplish what you want to accomplish. And so we learned that goals are really helpful ways to help motivate us because it aligns our focus, our attention, our energy. And so today we are going to cover play number 3, confidence. It hurts my heart to see how many people are walking around in this world not confident. They're not confident in themselves a lot of times because they're comparing themselves to other people. They're wishing they looked like someone else. They wish their family was like someone else. They wish they lived somewhere else, right? Anywhere else, anyone else but themselves. And so it causes this underlying current of lack of confidence. And I'm going to be honest with you, I bet you think I'm the only one who's not confident. And that's simply not true. In fact, I have the opportunity to serve as an executive for a global manufacturing company. I'm the mental performance coach for LSU football. I've worked with college athletes across the country. I've worked with professional athletes. And do you know what the number one issue I see in people, performers at every level, at every layer? Confidence. So I want to tell you right now, you are not alone. It's okay if you're not confident. I had a pastor one time say, listen, I love you exactly where you are, but I love you too much to leave you there. And that's how I feel about a confidence standpoint. It's okay if you're not confident, but I love you too much to let you stay that way. And if you can learn this now in your youth, man, that will impact your future in a powerful way. And then some of you are listening to be like this, blah, 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 I am confident. Let's get more direct here. So to you all that are confident, good. I love it. I want you to be confident. Don't let anybody tell you that you're ever too confident. Now, I will tell you, don't get cocky because you're going to get knocked down. But today, let's talk about what leads to grounded confidence. Because some of you feel confident and are confident naturally, quote unquote, and some of you don't. But I remember sitting in graduate school, learning about confidence, and I remember sitting in the back of the room and I raised my hand and I was like, whoa, we can teach confidence? I thought you kind of had it or you didn't. And that's not the case. There are some things, there are personality types that tend to be more confident, but even those personality types, if it's not grounded in some legitimate aspects that we know drive confidence, it's fickle and it creates a lot of anxiety in people because they're trying to make people think that they're confident, but really they're not confident. So my hope and intent for today is that you walk away understanding 3 important aspects that will drive your confidence so that you can choose confidence more consistently. A lot of times when we say, hey, choose confidence, people are like, what do you mean choose confidence? I'm either feeling confident or I'm not, right? No. Confidence is just a thought. And who controls your thoughts? You do. You control your thoughts. So I want you to choose confidence every time. And when we choose to be confident, we start to feel more confident because our thoughts affect our emotions. And then when we start feeling confident, our body starts to respond in the right way. Our testosterone levels start to go up, which is our power hormone. Girls, we have testosterone just like boys do, just lower levels, right? Our cortisol levels start to go down. Cortisol is our stress hormone. So our bodies, our blood flow, our muscle tension, all of that starts to align into a confident stance. And then that helps us perform our best. So we have to choose confidence. But again, I want to make that a logical choice for you, not something you're just grasping thin straws for, right? So in our book, Winning the Mental Game, the playbook for building championship mindsets, we break down 5 different aspects of confidence. I want to give you 3 of those very high level today because I think they're really applicable and you can start using them immediately. So one of the first things that we know drives confidence is, guess what? Preparation. When we are prepared, we're more confident. That's why when you study for a test, you're more confident when you sit down to take it. When you prepare for a sport through conditioning, right? If your sport requires running or swimming, right? When you are fit and in shape, you're more confident because you feel like you could go all day. When you've practiced your instrument over and over again, when you have your concerts, you're more confident. When you practice communicating, not just on your phone, you're going to be more confident to have a conversation with your teacher, with your coach, with a new person that might join your school. We want you to be confident, but you have to prepare if you want to be confident in a grounded way. So preparation, whatever it is that you do, be prepared for a test, for a conversation, for a meeting, for a concert, anything that you're doing, be prepared. The second key to confidence is your self-talk. What is self-talk, you ask? It's simply the words that you say to yourself in your head. And guess what? We are all talking to ourselves all day. The other crazy thing is, you think about this. You are the only person that you are with 100% of the time. What's that conversation that you're having with yourself every day, all day? Is that conversation healthy? Is it helpful? When you lay down at night and go to bed, how are you talking to yourself? When you step into the classroom, how are you talking to yourself? When you get in the car after school or ride the bus home, how are you talking to yourself? I would challenge you. The most important conversation we have every day is the conversation that we have with ourselves. A lot of times with my football players, I'll ask them, I'll say, hey man, would you ever say the stuff that you say to yourself to someone else or to your teammate? And they're like, oh no, doc. I would not say half the stuff that I say to myself to anyone else because it's mean. It's aggressive. It's like, man, you suck. What are you even doing out here? You think you can play college ball? Man, they was right. You can't do this. Like, man, you suck. You're slow. He's been beating you all day. That's what they say to themselves inside of their helmet sometimes. And so we talk about you have to be your best friend inside of your helmet. And I'm telling you today, you have to be your best friend inside of your head. How are you talking to yourself? How are you coaching yourself? If you can figure out your self-talk and get that under control and speak life, speak truth to yourself, it will change how you operate. And that's why your thoughts are so important. That's why your mindsets are so important. I told a story in one of the earlier episodes that when I was little, I had this t-shirt that said, I am strong, powerful, equal a threat. I am an athlete. And I believed it when I was young, like ingrained in me. And when I graduated college, I went to my first job and I was sitting around a board table and I was one of the only women around the table. And this guy said that I made a comment. And this guy like criticized me in front of everybody. And I just remember shrinking in my seat and getting really small. And I just said, Amber, keep your mouth shut. Why are you talking right now? You haven't earned a right to speak. And then 5 minutes later, the very thing I had said 5 minutes earlier came out of his mouth. And he was so confident and felt like it was the greatest contribution to the meeting. And guess what all of a sudden thought popped into my head? You know what? I am strong, powerful, equal a threat. And I sat back up in my chair and I decided that I was not going to shrink and I was not going to act like I shouldn't be there. But we have to do that to ourselves because no one's going to do that for us. So what's your self-talk? Let's get that under control. And then the last key to confidence I want to give you today is your body language. What we know is that when we are in a power pose, which is simply sitting up tall with your head up, with your shoulders back, with your feet on the floor, or in a standing position, your feet under you, right? And right under your shoulders, so you're nice and squared up, head up, shoulders back. That's called a power pose. When we are in a power pose for at least 2 minutes, that's just 120 seconds, right? Your hormones actually start to shift. Your testosterone, like we said, which is our power hormone, goes up. Your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, goes down. And now all of a sudden, your body starts to be in a position to choose to think right, to get your thoughts back under control. Because here's the thing, the moment that you collapse and get small, you shrink your shoulders, you drop your head, you fold and cross your arms, you get small, that sends a trigger to your brain that says, uh-oh, something's wrong. And guess what starts to happen? Cortisol starts to go up, testosterone starts to go down, and it becomes harder and harder to start to choose right thoughts and good, solid self-talk. So we put these things together, great preparation, great self-talk, a power posture. Now all of a sudden, choosing confidence becomes a much more grounded and sustainable way for you to show up as the best version of yourself. Every week, we talk about championship mindset training, right? Specific things that you can do to train this aspect of your mental game. So this week, I've got 2 things for you. I want you to come up with what we call a power statement, okay? A power statement is something positive, powerful, or productive about yourself. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. I boxed a little bit when I was in college, okay? And my fight name was Bulletproof Tiger. And so every time I stepped into the ring, I said, I'm a bulletproof tiger. And what does that mean? They can hit me, but I'm bulletproof, so that doesn't hurt. And then when I come at you on offense, I'm going to come at you like a tiger. I'm a bulletproof tiger. I have some of my guys, right, they write on their wrist, blessed. That's a power statement. It's a reminder that they are blessed. I have another one of my athletes. He writes on his wrist, I am a child of the King. I am a child of the King. And what that reminds him is that it is bigger than football, and he cannot let football consume his life. But man, he is a child of the King. That is a power statement, because bad, hard, challenging things are going to come your way. But guess what? You are a child of the King. I told you I have a daughter. She's 1.5, Eliana Bell. You know her. She has her own power statement. I have no idea where it came from, but she says all the time, I a beast. I a beast. Actually, I do know where it came from. One night we were giving her a little medicine because she had a little cough, and she like leaned in and she took it, and then she like swallowed it, and she leaned in again and took some more. And I was like, Ellie, you a beast. And she turned around and she looked at me and she's like, I a beast. And so now she says it all the time. She falls down, she gets up and she wipes her little hand. She goes, I tough, I a beast. And so I know that she's building that mindset. That's a power statement. What are your power statements going to be? What are the things that you can say to yourself over and over again? I have some of my clients, my athletes, they write it with a dry erase marker on their bathroom mirror. It said, I am strong. I'm a child of the King. I'm a bulletproof tiger. I'm built for this. I am here for a reason. My life matters. These are all power statements. Maybe you write them on your bathroom mirror so when you're brushing your teeth every night, you can say them over and over and over again. The second part of your mindset training is to manage your body language this week. Don't let yourself collapse. Don't let yourself get small. Stay big. Stay present. Maybe every morning before you go to school, you stand up tall, you look yourself in the mirror, and you say your power statements to yourself. You get your hormones straight, you get your mind right, and then you go win the day. Because this day needs you to be courageous, to be confident, and to make great choices. If this stuff has stood out and resonated with you, or you want some more, check out our website, www.selkingperformance.com. You can find all of our resources there. You can see our performance team. You can check us out on social media at Champ Mindsets, find a lot of additional resources. But if there's anything that we can do for you specifically through keynote speaking or one-on-one performance coaching, or if you just want to share a story of how you've applied or how this podcast is impacting you, shoot me an email directly, Dr. Selking at selkingperformance.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've been listening to Building Championship Mindsets, the podcast. This is your host, Dr. Amber Selking, and from the locker room to the boardroom, I just want to challenge you to continue building your championship mindset.